Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. This is Miguel with season 2 of how to combine the DC deck building sets. And this is our 15th deck profile for the season. In this episode, we'll be covering crossover pack 12, Batman Hush. The oversized characters in this crossover include Batman, Catwoman, Nightwing, Huntress, Robin, and Jim Gordon. The Nemesis stack will include Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, Superman, Harley Quinn, the Joker, Scarecrow, Clayface, and Hush. This crossover pack introduces the Investigation deck, which introduces two types of cards. We have Leads and Clues. Leads have an immediate effect when gained, which get revealed to all players and discarded into the Investigation pile. Clues are gained face down and are only accessible to the owner. Some clues are just VPs at the end of the game, but others are suspects that are called out when players attempt to defeat Hush. It is recommended to take notes of what happens during the game in order to keep track of what is being said. For the theme of the main deck, we're going to focus on Batman and his Rogues Gallery to stay true to the Hush storyline. For availability, we're pulling from the original set through Arkham Asylum, Rivals 1 through 5, Crisis 1 through 5, Crossover Pack 1 through 12, and Crossover Crisis 1. For consistency, the main deck will be at 130 cards with 30 heroes, villains, equipment, and superpowers with 10 locations. And now the deck profile. For heroes, at cost 2, we have a single copy of Harold Allnut with doubles of Catwoman and Katana. Harold Allnut has the effect +1 power. Put an equipment card from your discard pile on top of your deck. Catwoman is a low cost +2 power that can be picked up early when you cannot afford a kick or breakthrough. She can also be played to activate Dark Knight's secondary effect of putting a card you buy or gain this turn into your hand. Katana is a standard low-cost defense that can be bought in the early game as well. At cost 3, we have doubles of Robin, Daughter of Gotham City, and Batwoman. Robin supports equipment builds by recovering an equipment from your discard pile to replay. Daughter of Gotham City helps you recover punch cards early, useful for maintaining power generation. Batwoman provides generic support with power and draw, making her a strong buy in almost any deck. At cost 4, we have single copies of Crypto, Lois Lane, with doubles of Sonic Siren, Leslie Tompkins, Huntress, and Oracle. Crypto has the effect +2 power defense. Discard this card to avoid an attack. If you do, draw a card and investigate. Lois Lane has the effect when you gain this card, investigate. You may draw a card. If you choose not to, +1 power for each clue you own. Sonic Siren refreshes the lineup, helping to cycle out undesirable cards. Leslie Tompkins provides both draw and card destruction, making her useful for improving deck quality throughout the game. Huntress helps improve deck consistency by removing unwanted cards from your discard pile before they cycle back into your deck. Oracle can scout the top 2 cards of your deck, rearrange them, and maximize your next draw. At cost 5, we have single copies of Alfred Pennyworth, Dark Knight, Nightwing, with doubles of The Signal. Alfred Pennyworth has the effect draw a card and investigate. Dark Knight is a great card throughout the game because he can gain an equipment without using the power generated for the turn, letting you buy other cards. He can also be played with Catwoman to activate his secondary effect of putting a card you buy or gain this turn into your hand. Nightwing provides recovery in hero and metal builds, allowing you to recover cards with cost 3 or less. The Signal rewards superpower builds by providing both power and deck filtering through its draw and discard effect. At cost 6, we have single copies of Oracle and Tim Drake. Oracle has the effect +3 power and investigate. Tim Drake supports hero-focused builds by recovering heroes while also helping you acquire additional equipment from the lineup. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Princess Diana of Themyscira. Princess Diana of Themyscira is a great card throughout the game because she can gain villains from the lineup without using the power generated for the turn, letting you buy other cards. At cost 8, we have a single copy of Mana Steel. Mana Steel can help you catch up or take the lead because he can recover every single superpower from your discard pile, especially in heavy superpower builds. For villains, at cost 2, we have doubles of Two-Face and Ventriloquist. Two-Face is another low-cost draw card that can work best in a deck filled with even-cost cards to consistently draw a card. Ventriloquist is another low-cost card that can be bought early and supports equipment builds with additional +2 power. At cost 3, we have single copies of Riddler Goons, Street Thugs, with doubles of the Riddler, the Penguin, and Poison Ivy. Riddler Goons have the effect +2 power. You may put a clue you own on the bottom of the investigation deck to destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. Street Thugs have the effect +2 power. If you control a superpower, you may destroy this card to draw a card and investigate. The Riddler can let you gain cards from the top of the main deck at the cost of 3 power per card. The Penguin can cycle through your deck quickly by drawing 2 and then discarding 2 to maximize your hand. Poison Ivy can disrupt opponents while filling their decks with weaknesses, making her a strong source of early game pressure. At cost 4, we have single copies of Lady Shiva, Harley Quinn, Mr. Freeze, with doubles of Bane, Clayface, Killer Croc, and Man-Bat. Lady Shiva has the effect +2 power and choose a foe. Attack. That foe shuffles a clue they own into the investigation deck. Harley Quinn supports equipment builds by allowing you to recover an equipment if you have a weakness card in play. Mr. Freeze slows down other players' turns by removing one of their characters for the turn with his attack. Bane can add pressure to opponents by decreasing their hand size by 1 with his attack. Clayface can copy effects of cards you have played alongside him as a way to maximize your turn. Killer Croc supports villain builds with +3 power generation. Man-Bat can scout the top 3 cards of your deck to then destroy one of them and rearrange the rest, especially in equipment-heavy decks. At cost 5, we have doubles of Scarecrow and Punchline. Scarecrow is a standard attack card that can dish out weakness cards to each foe in order to clog their decks with undesirable cards. Punchline offers draw support, lineup control, and a defense effect, making her one of the more versatile cards in the main deck. At cost 6, we have single copies of Talia al Ghul and the Joker. Talia al Ghul has the effect draw a card and choose a foe. Attack. Steal a random clue owned by that foe. The Joker can thin out your deck while pressuring opponents in the mid to late game by discarding the top card of their deck to stop future plays with his attack. At cost 7, we have a single copy of President Luthor. President Luthor has the effect, when you gain this card, steal a random clue owned by each foe, +4 power. For equipment, at cost 2, we have doubles of Batarang and Eskrima sticks. Batarang is a low-cost +2 power that can be picked up in the early game when you cannot afford a kick or breakthrough. Eskrima sticks offers equipment recursion, allowing you to reuse cost 3 or lower equipment cards from your discard pile. At cost 3, we have single copies of Backglider and Rebreather, with doubles of the Phantom Zone Projector and Batmobile. Backglider has the effect, when you gain this, investigate. Look at the top card of your deck. Discard it or return it. Draw a card. Rebreather has the effect, draw a card. Look at the top card of the investigation deck. Then put it at the top or bottom of the investigation deck. Phantom Zone Projector is a standard defense card that can thin out undesirable cards like weaknesses. Batmobile can mulligan through your deck quickly to filter out unwanted hands. At cost 4, we have single copies of Grapnel Gun, Motorcycle, with doubles of the Cape and Cowl, Soul Taker Sword, Death Trap, and Batarang. Grapnel Gun has the effect +2 power. Add the top card of the main deck into the lineup. If you gain that card this turn, investigate. Motorcycle has the effect, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Put each villain you discarded this way into your hand. The Cape and Cowl is a standard defense card that can refill your hand by 2 when you avoid an attack. Soul Taker Sword helps improve deck consistency by removing unwanted cards from your hand before they cycle back into your deck. Death Trap can pressure opponents by forcing them to guess the top card of their deck, giving them weaknesses for being wrong. Batarang is a reliable defense card that can also provide additional power and card draw when used. At cost 5, we have single copies of Kryptonite Ring, Prometheum Sword, with doubles of Bat Cycle. Kryptonite Ring has the effect +2 power defense. Discard this card to avoid an attack. If you do, draw a card, destroy a card in your hand, and the attacker gains a weakness. Prometheum Sword can thin out your play zone out of undesirable cards with its attack. Bat Cycle rewards weakness-focused strategies by turning weaknesses into additional access to cards from the lineup, while also removing those cards from circulation. At cost 6, we have single copies of Scarface, Alfred Protocol, and doubles of Laughing Gas. Scarface supports villain-focused builds by helping you find villains while also improving draw quality through deck filtering. Alfred Protocol is a standard destroy card that can thin out your deck out of undesirable cards to not draw into them throughout the game. Laughing Gas is a standard attack card that can dish out weakness cards to each foe in order to clog their decks with undesirable cards. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Skull Ship. Skull Ship provides a strong amount of power and can recover cards from the destroyed pile, making it useful in games where valuable cards are being destroyed. At cost 8, we have a single copy of Power Armor. Power Armor is a good reveal to defend card because it can destroy multiple cards depending on the number of attacks that have been thrown against you. For superpowers, at cost 1, we have doubles of Acrobatic Agility. Acrobatic Agility is a low-cost defense card that can be picked up early when you cannot afford a kick or breakthrough. At cost 2, we have doubles of Insanity and Corrupt Dealing. Insanity is another low-cost defense card that can be picked up early when you cannot afford a kick or breakthrough. Corrupt Dealing provides a small amount of power while providing villain-focused strategies with support of card destruction, helping improve deck quality throughout the game. At cost 3, we have single copies of Impersonate and Teamwork, with doubles of X-Ray Vision. Impersonate has the effect, draw a card. You may put a clue you own on the bottom of the investigation deck. If you do, investigate. Teamwork has the effect, +2 power, investigate. Then choose a foe to investigate. If they reveal an ambush attack, you automatically avoid the attack. X-Ray Vision gives players access to the top of foes' decks in order to play non-location card from any deck. At cost 4, we have single copies of Detective Work and Track Down, with doubles of Bulletproof, Super Intellect, X-Ray Vision, and Chlorokinesis. Detective Work has the effect, +2 power. If you control a hero, choose up to 2 clues owned by other players. Look at those clues and then return them. Track Down has the effect, when you gain this, investigate. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Bulletproof is a standard defense card that can draw a card and give the option to destroy a card from your discard pile when defending. Super Intellect can either give you +2 power or destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. If you destroy an equipment, it can gain even more power. X-Ray Vision extends your turn by playing the top card of the main deck with a chance of gaining an ongoing card. Chlorokinesis can scout foe's top card with its attack and discard any cards you don't want them to use. At cost 5, we have a single copy of Swoop from Above, with doubles of Break the Bat and Cold Breath. Swoop from Above has the effect, +1 power and draw a card, defense. Discard this card to avoid an attack. If you do, draw a card and the attacker gives you a clue that they own. Break the Bat is an attack against players who have been defeating the nemesis by clogging their decks with undesirable cards. Cold Breath combines power with an effect to immediately burden an opponent with a weakness, making it more disruptive than effects that place weaknesses into the discard pile. At cost 6, we have doubles of Heat Vision and World's Greatest Detective. Heat Vision is a standard destroy card that can thin out your deck out of undesirable cards to not draw into them throughout the game. World's Greatest Detective is a standard reveal to defend card that gives players +1 power and draws a card when played. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Flight. Flight offers strong deck filtering by drawing multiple cards and allowing you to recover a hero or superpower that was discarded, helping you find and reuse important cards more consistently. For locations, at cost 5, we have Gotham City Cemetery, the Watchtower, Arkham Asylum, the Batcave, Fortress of Solitude, and Titan's Tower. Gotham City Cemetery has the effect when you gain this, investigate. Ongoing, the first time you investigate each turn, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. The Watchtower, Arkham Asylum, the Batcave, and the Fortress of Solitude are draw engines for their respective card type. Titan's Tower is a draw engine for its respective costs of 2 or 3. At cost 6, we have Gotham City Bridge, Lazarus Pit, Arkham Asylum, and Wayne Manor. Gotham City Bridge has the effect the first time you investigate during each of your turns, look at the top 2 investigation cards instead of 1. Put one at the bottom of the investigation deck and resolve the other. Lazarus Pit allows you to recycle cards that you have been destroying for other card effects as a way to keep them in your ownership. Arkham Asylum and Wayne Manor are recycle engines for their respective card types that allow you to reuse key cards throughout the game. In closing, that's one way to combine the DC deck building sets. Remember, there's no single correct way to build your main deck. These videos are here to inspire ideas and start conversations. What would you change? Should Wonder Woman or other Justice League members get their own crossover? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all the YouTube things. I'll see you on the next one.